welcome to today's session. It is going to be a squat focused, lower body focused session. So we're going to kick off with our warm-up. Warm-up is going to consist of a little bit of ankle mobility, a little bit of hip work, and a little bit of work on elevating the heart rate as well, okay? 2 to 3 rounds on this one. I'm going to work with Mitch through 2 rounds here. He's going to kick off with his ankle mobility work for the first exercise. What we're looking to do here is rock in and out of the movement called dorsiflexion. He's going to do 10 repetitions on each leg, moving that knee over the top of the toes and back out. Okay, what I want you to focus on here, guys, is keeping that heel planted to the floor and really trying to drive that knee over the top of the toes as much as you can. Okay, 10 repetitions on that one leg. Once you've done that, it will be 10 repetitions on the other leg. Feel free as well as you're going through this exercise, you can change the angle of the knee as well as it's starting to track over the top of the toes. Feel free, it hasn't got to come straight over the top of the toes. You can move it in and outside of your hip to get a little bit more range. Okay, Mitch is now moving on to his other leg. As he's doing that as well, I'll just explain to you, Mitch is obviously doing this body weight, as I'm sure most of you will be doing at home, but feel free if you've got maybe like a kettlebell, a dumbbell, even a tin of paint, anything like that, you can rest on top of the leg, just to add a little bit more weight into the knee. You'll get a little bit more out of that warm up as well. So just moving in and out of that range. Good, Mitch, just trying to get that knee in front of the toes, looking very strong. That's it. Very good, 10 repetitions on that one leg. 10 repetitions on the other, and then we'll move into our next exercise. So Mitch is now going to move into the second movement of the warm-up, and that is a little bit of work on his hips. Okay, so we're going to do some hip adductor rocks. He's got his one foot planted to the floor there. He's got his back nice and flat. His legs really straight. Like I said, foot planted to the floor, and he's moving his body weight in and out of that movement, just sending his hips all the way back towards the heel of his opposite leg, and then back forward through that movement. Nice work, Mitch, excellent. Again, we'll focus on 10 repetitions on this side and 10 repetitions on the other. This is going to be an excellent movement for just opening out those hips, getting them nice and loose, getting them ready, prime for action. Good work, Mitch. Lovely stuff. Okay, he's now going to move on to the other leg. Good work, that's it. Nice switch. Again, if you want to just get a little bit more out of this exercise, just focus on dropping the hips back a little bit further. And you'll really feel that groin stretching. Nice, Mitch, good work. Good work, guys. Hope you're all keeping up with us there at home. Solid work, Mitch. So we've got 2 exercises now almost completed for our mobility, hips and ankles. Once Mitch finishes off these last few reps, he's going to come up to his feet, complete his warm-up with a 5-second sprint on the spot. Okay, he's pumping his arms, pumping his knees as fast and as hard as he can, really trying to get the height of his knees. Once he's done those 5 seconds, he's back down for his second round. Okay, so we go back to that first exercise, the one we started with, the ankle work, and we're going to bring it back into rocking over the top of that ankle. There should be a little bit more range now. We should be able to push that knee a little bit further forward as the ankles start to warm up. And this would be a good opportunity to just change the dimension, change how that ankle is going to function. As you come into your squat session, your knees are going to track in different angles, probably in places you wouldn't normally want to push them. The body's going to want to move into those positions, so it's ideal opportunity to just get that ankle moving through all sorts of different ranges. Good work, Mitch, excellent. That's it, fantastic. The other side. Nice work, Mitch. Last few repetitions on that ankle. Good work, good work. So keeping that heel planted. He's moving into his last round on his hips. He's going to take one leg out to the side, back nice and flat, and he's moving and sitting back into his hips. Lovely. Again, similar to the ankle work that we've just mentioned, he should be able to now move into a slightly better position as his hips start to open up. Very good. Feel free as well, guys, at home, if you want to just play around with the straight leg as well. Turning the toe up to the ceiling might give you a little bit more range. Again, just play with that exercise a little bit. See what you can get into. Try and find some sticky areas. Good work. We're going to do 2 rounds here on the warm-up. Feel free, if you don't feel like this is quite enough, it's not substantial enough to get your body elevated, get it nice and primed for action, then feel free to pause the video and move to maybe a 3rd round just to get a little bit more work done. But like I said, we're going to do 2 rounds here, and then we'll move straight into our strength element of our bodyweight session. Good work, Mitch. Okay, last few repetitions. Hips should be moving a lot better than they did at the start now. Lovely work. Up onto your feet. Last chance to elevate that heart rate with us, team. And that's just a drive, a pump in those arms. Big 5-second sprint. Excellent, lovely work. Okay, right, that's warm-up done. We're now going to move into our strength element of the session. Okay, we're going to have a little look at the split squat, a little bit of single leg work. This can be done either body weight without any equipment at all, or we can progress the exercise so we've got the back foot elevated for a little bit more challenging exercise. Okay, Mitch is going to go straight in. He's going to do his first set now. He's going to kick off just doing the body weight movement. He's splitted his stance. And he's just focusing on dropping his back knee down towards the floor. Okay, that's the primary focus here. Dropping that knee down towards the floor and driving back up. What I'm looking for Mitch to do though is to maintain his strength. He's doing that by adding a pause into the repetition. Okay, so he's going to take a 3-second pause right at the bottom of that rep. Ideally, Mitch, if you can just get me the pause maybe just a little bit higher off the floor, just hold there. Excellent. So what I don't want to do is resting his body on the floor. So we're just going to take that pause, maybe just an inch or 2 above the floor. 3, 2, 1, and drive back up to that standing position. Once he's done 5 repetitions, he's going to switch his leg and move on to the other side. Solid work. Good, Mitch. Okay, so just for this first set, we're showing you the really scaled back, the most accessible version of the split squat. Bodyweight movement. Up and down, lovely control pace from Mitch, but what he is focusing on is that 3-second pause at the bottom, that isometric hold. That is really where he's going to build his strength. Lovely work, Mitch, lovely work. Good. Okay. We're going to move back in, maybe do another set, Mitch, just on the body weight, just as we were before. Like I said, we're going to focus again on that sort of rep range of about sort of 5 repetitions. But if you're at home, feel free to maybe add in a few more reps if you need to just make it a little bit more challenging. Just for today, me and Mitch just working for a rep range of 5 reps with a 3-second pause at home. 3-second pause at the bottom of that rep. Exactly what I'd like to see you doing at home. So he's into his second set now. You can see how he's trying to keep his torso upright as well. His shoulders are pinned back, his chest is upright, he's dropping that back knee under control and then accelerating back up to that start position. For our third set, we will show you a little bit more of a scaled up version of that exercise where we can elevate the leg. It's something you can do at home as well. Lovely work, Mitch. Super stuff. And you can see the angle with his front foot as well. He's getting that front knee just over the top of his toes, just as we practiced in the warm-up. Lovely work. Okay, just as Mitch is having a bit of a rest there, we're just going to bring in that bench. Okay, what we've got here is just a bench, standard gym size bench, but for you at home, if you've got a chair, a sofa, anything that you can something nice and stable you can elevate your foot on, we can make this exercise a little bit higher. So, again, we'll focus on that rep range, something between sort of 5 up to 8 repetitions maximum. And we've now got this back foot elevated. So this back foot, we want it completely relaxed. It's completely up to you how you have this foot. You can have it how Mitch is having it, up on his toes like this. You can drop the foot so it's a little bit more relaxed, so it's on the laces of your trainers. It's entirely up to you, whatever you're more comfortable with. But it's the same cues, the same coaching. Okay, so the back knee is dropping straight down. You're going to be able to get into a deeper position from this angle. And he's going to move himself back up. Still maintaining that 3-second pause. Excellent, Mitch, on to that other leg. It's going to be a big element of balance and coordination as well through this. No, Mitch hasn't had any beers this morning. Good. Okay, so there's a 3-second pause and a big drive back up. As soon as that balance, the coordination comes in, we're going to be engaging our core muscles as well. So it's not only just a really focused exercise for that lower limbs, we are getting the core involved as well. Good work, Mitch. In terms of breathers and rest periods for this, guys, try and keep them as short as possible, okay? Although it is strength training, I probably wouldn't focus on anything longer than sort of 60 seconds, up to 2 minutes, absolutely cut-off point rather than going any further than that, so 60 seconds max. What we'll do, Mitch, is we'll do one more set on the elevated foot, and then we might move into a little bit of work after that, okay? So in terms of the amount of sets that we're going to get done here, guys, I want you to squeeze in really sort of as much as you can into the same sort of period as me and Mitch are working now, okay? So something like 5 to 10 minutes. See how many of these split squats you can get done. Good, nice big pause at the bottom, team. And working it back up. Really important you're not folding the upper body over the front of the legs, so you don't want to be arching the back and putting weight into that front thigh. You really want to be pinning that chest up, okay? That's it, use the arms to balance if you need to, Mitch. You can make this one a little bit more challenging as well. You've got maybe a rucksack, kettlebell, or dumbbell, something where you've got a little bit of weight in your hands. You can add a little bit of weight to this movement. I would suggest holding the weight high up on the chest rather than down by the hips or on the back. Hold that weight high up on the chest and the exercise is going to become a lot more challenging. There will be a tendency then to maybe lean forward a little bit more, so just pay attention to making sure that upper body is upright through all of that movement. Right, okay, Mitch, have a little breather there. We'll pause for a second and I'll catch you up in a second, guys. Working those split squats, Mitch. Okay, we're going to go straight into our next bit. We're going to elevate the heart rate a little bit more, okay, work on 2 different exercises. And we're going to do a little AMRAP, okay, so as many rounds as possible. The time is going to be 8 minutes. Let's get straight into that first exercise then, Mitch. Okay, so the first one I'm looking for him to do, we're going to do 8 to 10 repetitions, 8 to 10 of the bodyweight man maker. So Mitch has already started. We'll have a little look at this movement. Think of it similar, something similar to a burpee, but much more of a strict element to this. Okay. So rather than just dropping to the floor and getting your body weight up and jumping, we're adding some different components to it, focusing on the different elements in this exercise. So, if I catch Mitch when he's back at the top, as we go down, so Mitch is going to drop down into a planche position. He's then adding in a push-up, either on the knees or the toes. From there, he's tapping both shoulders. One tap of each shoulder, he's up to his feet, and he adds in a strict squat jump, okay? He's not just throwing his feet off the floor, he's really getting deep into the squat to generate force to come out of that movement. Good. Excellent use of his arms as well. So we've got a plank, we've got a push-up, we've got some elevated plank work, so a tap on each shoulder, and a big squat jump where he's trying to drive as much of his body weight off the floor as he possibly can. So he's got 8 to 10 repetitions on this movement, just as you guys are doing at home. Once you've done those reps, once you've done those 8 to 10 repetitions, you can then move into a little bit of core work. So we're going to do single leg touches. So Mitch is reaching up towards his toes, alternating the reps across the body. Okay, so there's a bit of rotational work in this rather than just the standard flexion and extension of his spine. He's reaching up, rotating across the body. 30 repetitions here, guys, okay? 30 repetitions, 15 on each side. So you've got those 8 to 10 man makers, 30 on the core. That's a challenging movement. Once you've done those 2 exercises, the timer's still ticking, so I want you to move straight back into those bodyweight man makers. Solid work, Mitch. Hits his push, hits his plank, gets his shoulder working, and then adds that squat jump. Up to you guys at home how hard, how fast you work through this. I think especially with these 2 movements, they do have a definite element of coordination and stuff as well, so just take your time, work through these exercises as you go. Good, excellent work, Mitchell. Super work. A couple of ways you can scale that as well if you're really starting to struggle too. So the plank can be done on the knees, the push-up can be done on the knees. Yeah, loads of ways Mitch can make this harder or easier. Focusing on those shoulder taps as well. You can just focus on maybe just taking the hand just off the floor a small amount. He hasn't got to come up and tap the shoulders. You can just take those hands just off the floor. So Mitch showing you a variation now as well on the core work. So his legs aren't elevated anymore, he's got them bent. And he's just, almost like a heel touch, he's reaching around his legs now to touch his heels. A little bit easier, but again, the same focus. He's trying to get his shoulders off the floor. He's trying to pull that body weight up, get that torso up and off the floor, okay? It shouldn't just be a rounding, reaching around the sides. It needs to be pulling up and round to get that crunch moving in, to get the abdominals working. Great work, Mitch. Last few reps, get up to that 30. Brilliant work. Heart rate starting to elevate. I hope yours is as well at home. Okay, so coming up to that halfway point, guys. Keep yourselves going. We're focused on the 8-minute AMRAP today, but feel free, similar to the same sort of thing we said in the warm-up at the start, and even with the split squats as well. If you don't feel like you're getting quite enough work done, pause the video once we finish our 8-minute AMRAP and continue for another 2 minutes. Just get a little bit more work done. It's up to you how hard you train through this. We're giving you the ideas. It's up to you to just sort of tailor that to your needs. Good work, Mitch. Both of these exercises are a massive element of core strength in this as well. So he's holding his plank now, that push-up he's got to be tight. When he's tapping his shoulders, he's got to keep those hips stable. He doesn't want to be rocking those hips. Big element of core strength. He's doing really well. Good explosive work off the floor. 8 to 10 repetitions for Mitch, and then he's into his core work. Keeping himself moving, he's doing really well. Okay, down to the floor, he's going back to that first one, reaching up and across the body. Aiming to touch up towards the toes. If you can't quite get there, guys, you can come a little bit lower, maybe aim to touch the knees or the shins, whatever you can do, okay? But really try and get those shoulders up and off the floor. Great work, Mitch. Okay, coming into the final few minutes now. Good, nice straight push up. His hips are nice and stable, just checking that as well. Making sure we're using those arms in that squat jump as well. Don't just have the arms hanging by the sides. Make sure we are throwing those arms back and getting ourselves up nice and tall. Good work, good work. Okay, we're sort of splitting this session almost into little sections, guys. So we started with that split squat. Slower pace, technique work, a bit more strength on the legs. We're now trying to drive the heart rate up. Get a bit of a calorie burn into the session. Thankfully for Mitch, after this we're going to go back to a bit of technique work. It's going to give him a chance to have a breather. Right, okay, we're into that final minute now, Mitch. So what I want you to do is just see if you can dial up the intensity a little bit. See if you can just take it over that finish line. See if you've got any more in that tank to go. Good. Really try and use those arms in the squat jump. Lovely work. I think we're killing him, guys. Keep it going. He's back onto those heel touches. Can he get it inside the final minute? Last few seconds for you guys at home as well. Big push. Get those reps done. 30 seconds to go. Good, Mitch. Excellent. Might be an opportunity to get in a few more reps here. See if you can get in a few more reps at home. Okay, last few seconds. Big push, Mitch. Up onto your feet. 10. Okay, 3, 2, 1, and we'll rest there. Okay. Like I said, guys, we're going to move straight into our next bit of training. Feel free, if you're at home, pause the video here and you can return to it if you want to do a little bit more work. And we're going to move into our sort of single leg work after this, so a little bit of technique, slower pace. I'll catch you in a second with that. Super, guys. Right, okay, into a little bit of slower pace technique work now. We're going to have a look at our posterior chain. A little bit of work through the hips. We're going to focus on the muscles in our hamstrings, our glutes, our lower back, and our core muscles as well. Okay, so Mitch is going to kick off, and we're going to go straight into a single leg Romanian deadlift just with his body weight. Okay. Here with the repetitions, ideally, guys, all I want you to do at home is focus on 5 repetitions under a nice controlled pace. Okay. So he's keeping his front shin vertical, his knees soft. And he's sending his other leg up and back to get into a deeper position, keeping lots of balance, and then driving his hips forward to complete the rep. Okay, so he's really trying to control the pace. 5 repetitions on each leg. Ideally, this is what I want you focused on, guys, is trying to... This front leg, as Mitch is doing now, his knee is soft, his shin is vertical, his shoulder blades are retracted as they would be with a deadlift. When he gets into that full position, to get himself back up to standing, he's not just going to jam his leg down to the floor. He's going to focus on driving the hips, pushing his pelvis forward, and squeezing his bum to get that rep complete. Again, just as we would be doing with a deadlift with a barbell. Great accessory work for that exercise. Much more challenging than it looks. Okay, so we're going to do 5 on each leg, and then we'll move into that second set. We've got 5 minutes here, guys, on this exercise. 5 minutes to see precisely how much you can get done. How many of these reps can you get done inside the 5-minute barrier? Ideally, you want to get at least 3 sets done. Good work, Mitch. For this second set, Mitch is going to show you maybe just a scaled version of this. Okay, so he's not going to take his leg all the way back. He's just going to split his stance, focusing on his front foot again. The shin is vertical, the knee is soft. From the hips, he's pivoting, pushing pushing the bum back as far as he can. Again, maintaining a lovely flat, neutral spine. He's keeping his chest up. He's hinging at those hips. There should be a big response from this front foot. That leg, the hamstring in that leg, there should be a big response. A lot of tightness through that back leg. That's when you know you're really working the right muscles. Good work, Mitch. So this is the scaled version of the exercise we showed you on the first set. Ideally, if you had no issues with that first set, I would stick to that one. But if you were all over the place, you were wobbling, then maybe this would be the exercise to choose just to get you moving, get those hamstrings, get those glutes firing. Also as well, like especially when that leg comes off the floor, there's going to be a big element of balance. If you need to do this next to a wall, next to a chair at home for a little bit of added balance, a little bit more support, then that is fine as well. I've always used that in the past. Take yourself to the wall, place one hand up against the wall, that will give you a little bit more support. Good work, Mitch. Lots of control. Okay, he's not rushing through these reps. He's got 5 minutes, but he's given me 5 minutes of quality work. Excellent. So that's 2 sets done. This third set, he's going to go back to the single leg RDL version that we kicked off with, and I'll talk you through a couple of progressions as he's working. So, he's taking that leg back. He's really focusing on the pace of the movement. Lots of control. As always, adding the load to this exercise would make it a little bit more difficult. So if Mitch had the accessibility to maybe a kettlebell, a bag, even a bag of shopping, anything that he can hold in his one hand, then that would make this exercise much more challenging. If you're new to this exercise, I would focus on maybe holding a weight in the hand of the same leg you're training. So Mitch is currently training his left leg. He would hold a weight in his left hand. If you want to take it up even further, then alternate. Okay, so left leg to right arm. Good work, Mitch. So we're coming into the final minute or so of our work. Last few seconds actually. Just going to wrap this up. So if you get these last few reps done, hopefully at home, guys, you're working through these repetitions as well, focusing on control, working through the hips. Good, Mitch, keep going, mate. Good. So as his hamstrings, as his glutes start to fatigue. Okay, right, okay, let's just stop there. Mitch is just going to have a break up for a second, as you guys are at home. And then we're going to kick off straight into our finisher for today, okay? Welcome back, guys. We're going to get straight into our finisher now. It's going to be a really heavy one for those legs. We're going to kick off with our EMOM, okay? So EMOM stands for every minute on the minute. Every minute on the minute, we're going to perform a set of exercises. The quicker and harder you perform those exercises, the more rest you're going to get as it comes back round to that next minute when you have to perform them again, okay? So we've got 3 exercises today. I would like you to perform 5 repetitions of each of those movements. Again, if they feel too difficult, or you can scale the rep ranges if needs be, okay? Mitch, if you just give us a demonstration quickly of maybe just 2 reps on each one of those movements. So the first exercise is going to be the bodyweight squat. We're looking for good range, heels to the floor. The second exercise is going to be the jump squat. Excellent, using his arms to generate force. And the last one, a bit of a toughie, it's the tuck jump. We're going to drive those knees up to the front. So we've got 5 repetitions of each. Right, Mitch, are we ready to kick off? Lovely stuff. Okay, hopefully you guys at home are ready to rock and roll as well. 5 squat jumps. Sorry, 5 squats, 5 squat jumps, 5 tuck jumps to finish off. Get these done hard and fast, just as Mitch is going to do. We're going to aim for a 6-minute EMOM. If this isn't enough for you, feel free to just continue going, maybe up to 8 minutes. If you want to take the harder route, up to 10 minutes if you really want to take it to the extreme. Right, Mitch, okay. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go, buddy. You've got a minute to work through these exercises. 5 on the squats. Looking to get those hips down, tracking the knees over the top of the toes, into 5 squat jumps. The harder and faster Mitch trains, the more rest he's going to get. Oh, super tuck jumps, well done, buddy. So that's taken Mitch just over 20 seconds. Hopefully you guys maybe just coming to the end of your reps right now as well. What you're looking to get is at least 15 seconds of recovery on this EMOM. If you're not getting 15 seconds of recovery, reduce the reps, okay? Right, minute number 2 just coming round, Mitch. We've got about 15 seconds left on that recovery time, so just shake those legs off, prepare. Get ready again, okay, 10 seconds and we're going back in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Mitch, he's back to his squat. He's still focused on getting good range. Lovely stuff, chest upright. He's now going to start to engage the arms to the side now as well. To get some height, get that head right up. Good work, tuck jumps up to the front. He's focused on getting the knees up rather than bringing the heels up to the bum. Okay, so it's knees up to the front. Lovely work, Mitch. Excellent stuff. He's back to his breather. Like I said, should be just coming to the end of your reps as well at home, guys. Play with the reps, by all means. Play with these reps. We're doing a rep count here of 5, 5 on 5. I have played with this with some of the clients as well and moved the rep range up to 7 reps as well. Okay, so play around with it. Take that challenge, see what you can do. 10 seconds to go, Mitch, and then we're going to hit that next round. We're getting through this. You're doing really well. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on that minute. Let's train. Good work, Mitch. Excellent work. He's getting it done in about 20 seconds. Lots of time to recover. He's pushing hard. Good. 20 seconds to go, and we're coming back in. This is going to be minute number 3 on my clock. So we're going to keep going up until I see that 6-minute here. Feel free to go a little bit longer if you need to. Last few seconds, Mitch, and I'll count you in again. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on that minute. Let's load up those legs once more. If you need to scale any of these movements at home, feel free. So if you need to take that squat jump to maybe like a squat with a heel raise, where your feet aren't leaving the floor, that's fine. If you need to take the tuck jumps to a little variation, we might show you that in the next round as well. Lovely stuff. Good. Mitch working hard. So I think what we'll do is we'll just scale the movement just to a bodyweight thruster on the floor for the next round. So Mitch is going to show you a scaled version of the tuck jump, just in case you're doing it at home and it's banging on the floor or it's hurting your knees, anything like that. We've got a slightly easier version on the next round if you need to tailor it as well. Okay. Okay, 10 seconds, Mitch. We'll go back to the squat. We're going to go squat, jump squat, and bodyweight thruster in this round. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So he's hitting 5 squats, keeping his heels down, keeping his chest up. He's going to then move into his 5 squat jumps, getting a bit of plyometric work in there, getting his heart rate up. And this time he's down to the floor and he's jumping the knees forwards and backwards. A little bit easier through those joints. 5 repetitions on that one as well. Okay, we're going to do one more round with you guys, and that will take us up to our finishing point. What I'm going to ask is that you challenge yourself in this last round. Let's take those reps up to 7. I'm sure Mitch is looking forward to that as well. Big finish, he's got 20 seconds and we're going to take those reps up to 7. So 7 squats, 7 squat jumps, and 7 either tuck jumps or bodyweight thrusters down on the floor. We'll see what we can do. Right, 10 seconds, Mitch. Last round for us. Feel free to continue at home if you want. 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 7 squats. Big finish. Good work, buddy. See if you can get this done inside the minute. Let's go for the tuck jumps. 7 reps. Excellent, lovely work. Okay guys, if you are finished there, like I said, pause your video, take a little sweaty selfie, post it on your Facebook, tag the gym, tag Fit360 in that as well. If you're after a little bit more support on some of those exercises, especially the technique work, then log into the Zoom app, get yourself booked in for one of our online coaching sessions, and the coaches then can take you through those movements one-to-one, sort of taking you step by step through those exercises with a little bit more help from us, from our side. But excellent session guys, see you again soon.